Are we ready? All right, I'm gonna call to order the May 29th, 2025 Health and Human Relations Commission of Jefferson County meeting to order. First on our agenda is, we have Amanda. Hi, come on in. Did everybody get to review the minutes from our last meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, I'm gonna make a motion to approve DJ's wonderful minutes from our last meeting in April. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Okay, Amanda seconds. Wait, let me see how you say it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I don't know if we have to do that, but I like to. All right, so those minutes are approved. And then next on our agenda, we have one visiting organization today. I did reach out to Ruth Haven, but I haven't heard back if they were gonna make it today, but we do have representatives from the Recovery Cafe here with us tonight. So Michelle, if you wanna get up and introduce yourself, we can introduce ourselves too if you want. We'll just go as you come up and say our names.
Absolutely.
I need to stand. Are you ready for me or no?
You can stand, just come on up to the podium. I'll just give you a heads up. This
That's far
little,
enough. No.
this little machine right here on the table is recording, so it'll.
Video and
record.
audio.
Yeah, okay. So we'll just go around the room and then you can get up.
Hello, my name's DJ. I work at Hanover College in our student life office, where I work with clubs and organizations, and then also our social justice leadership program.
My name is Gigi. I live over kind of between Hanover and Madison and the Madison address, and I joined the group just a couple months ago.
Hello, I'm Stephanie Godward. I live in Madison. I work at University of Louisville, and I joined because I want to get more involved.
Hi, I'm Amanda Chandler. I live in Hanover. I'm a home birth midwife, and I just love my community.
I'm Jane. I live in Hanover too, and I do lots of things like this, and Hanover Town Council, and nonprofits, and I'm an artist, and I teach classes sometimes.
I'm Cammie. I am a registered nurse, former ER and trauma nurse, and then I worked in corrections for 5 years. So I have a big heart for our addicts and our disenfranchised, and have done a lot of work with that population of people. I now work with elderly population. All of my members or caseload are age 60 and over who are on Medicaid and are nursing 3 level of care, living at home. I live in downtown Madison with my 2 aging dogs, and
My name's Dave Bramer, and I'm the county commissioner. I don't know, we met before, so.
Okay.
Yeah, Bob doesn't introduce himself, so. He's the paper.
All right, so if you wanna just let us know a little bit about what y'all do in the community, what challenges you face that we could maybe help assess and keep in mind for problem solving in the future, that'd be great.
Well, I think also to point people to you, we're trying to get the word out to folks, so I don't know if we've linked stuff on the county website or things, but we can do that to help people. When things come up, sometimes they don't know where to go look, and so we're trying to help that too, because sometimes that's the biggest part of the problem, just not knowing where do I go to get help.
I can send that information to you, Jane?
Sure.
Okay. Well, my name's Michelle Jones. I'm the executive director at the cafe. This is my sister, Jessica Lawless. She's our program coordinator. So at the cafe, we're open Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Anybody is welcome. We believe that everybody's recovering from something. So people can come in, hang out, eat snacks. We have games. We do art. We do, all kinds of stuff to get people involved. We have meetings. Also, we serve dinner on Tuesday. Every day that we're open, we serve a meal. So anybody can come in. Once a month, we like to do sober socials. That means everybody from the community is welcome. We allow, them to bring their children. We just think that, bringing in family, for extra support and, sober fun. So, it's just a huge thing for, a lot of these people with an addiction, they just recently getting their kids back. So just family support, sober fun. Some of the things that we do at the cafe, I have another staff, she's down at the cafe now. Of course, we run meetings. We
Like
call them,
AA and NA meetings, or what type of meetings?
we can do those after hours, so like on Mondays after hours, there's a women's support AA group, and then Thursdays at 7, there's AA. So we open our building up to people that want to, hold meetings if they want to do that. But as far as the cafe, when we're open, we have a thing called recovery circles. We were having, a women's course and then just strictly men. So now we've kind of brought them together to have a support group. It starts at 5:30 on Tuesday. So we'll have dinner at 5 and then 5:30 is our meeting time. Wednesdays are kind of our lax day. People just kind of come and go and they can, we normally play games, do art. Thursday, we have the state hospital. They come in, we kind of have a partnership with them. So they bus, how many we got? 6? 5 now, that come every Thursday. So we provide them a meal. We like to give them a little extra stuff that they don't normally get, food and drinks and things. We'll do a workshop, we do our group and stuff with them. But as a whole, people come to us, we help get their driver's license back. We help find them housing, we help find them work, just different support group. And we utilize, a lot of River Valley resources, some of the things that they have to offer here. We work well with corrections. It seems like the biggest problem that we face is when someone gets out of jail or prison. Parole will call and be like, well, we're sending, so-and-so down. Well, they're homeless. We have a huge housing shortage for some of these people to go. 9 times out of 10, if they have the funding themselves, they'll give them a tent and say, here you go. It used to be a gift card of $50, and now it's just, they give them a tent. Where are these people supposed to go? And that's one of our biggest problems. I mean, a lot of times I've had to buy a hotel room just so they're not on the street, especially in the winter, because there's just not enough funding. I kind of help utilize Dave Adams, Salvation Army, we partner up as well. But there's just no place for them to go. And then, when I do find like Jefferson House, they're pretty full, Ruth Haven's always pretty full. If I find outsource, outside of the community, parole says, no, they have to be here. So that's a huge problem that we face. I don't know what to do with them at this point. So, they have a tent or they may not have a tent and then they're just wherever. Another big thing that we have faced was, we all know, I was able to buy a van last year, so that did help, but unfortunately the government took away all of our funding. As you know, across the board, they've kind of taken away a lot of nonprofit funding, so I had to sell the van just to get by. So we're actually looking at, possible funding for grants and stuff so we can continue our mission.
So right now y'all have 0 funding? Like,
How are
y'all?
We have, some funds in the bank, but we're looking at, additional funding donations, and I'm actually working with like a nonprofit to kind of help with fundraising and, you know, get some funding for us. Yeah, we just do all kinds of stuff, you know, we're all peer coaches, so we can do one-on-ones, and we just help as we can, you know. We offer, you know, we do workbooks, hit on different topics, anger management, life skills, coping skills. We have a partnership with Fifth Third. We actually have a work code, not Fifth Third, First Financial. We have a work code, so, you know, when they do come in, we are able to get them hooked up with a bank account. Once they actually get a job and hold that account in good standing, they'll get a $300. The ladies from First Financial, they'll come in and they'll go over, you know, just basic credit, how to budget. We've helped, I don't know how many people, you know, get their first car, you know, as they're saving, you know, teaching them about credit and how to save. We've had several people, you know, able to get their new house. So, you know, where they came out of jail, they've come to us, we've gotten their license, a job, apartment, with car, you know, and so forth, so. Does anybody have any questions?
So, in terms of your like structured programming, that seemed kind of to be workshops or meetings, are those things that people communicate in advance, or is it like a drop-in, or is it like an enrollment into that group kind of starts on a particular time of the calendar?
They can come in any time, so. And then we're getting ready to roll out our School for Recovery program. So that's what we've been working on now. It'll be like a 4 to 6 week. We did this last year. We had a guy from, he was from the soup kitchen there at Salvation Army. He was actually from here. He was in addiction, you know, and now he's in recovery. He actually cooks for the Salvation Army there. So he came and taught how to cook on a budget. And, you know, with things that you could get from like the food pantry and stuff. So we're gonna be rolling out some new things here too, before too long, 4 to 6 weeks course. So just different life skills that, you know, nowhere in the county that they can come to and actually be able to, you know, be taught, you know, these sort of things.
May I ask, which grant fundings, were cut that y'all have?
It was through DMHA, the FSSA.
Um,
want to tell them about that program that got cut because of that MFA? Yeah, well, we had an MFA program. It's actually going to be cut in
What's
at the end
MFA?
of June. It's member financial assistance. So if you were a member and you come to 6 of our circles, you were eligible to get into the member financial assistance. And what that means is you pick your circle, either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. You come to that circle, you know, consecutively, have to have a misdemeanor or a felony and able to get the assistance, but you would get up to $500 a month. We would help with rent, electric, gas, groceries, you know, the essential needs. And we wouldn't just hand them money. It was either, you know, a money order to whoever their rental person was, or they would get it on a card. They would have to save their receipts, bring them to us, and then our resource specialist, she who does one-on-ones with them of whatever their need is, you know. So that way, by the time the 6 months is up, you know, they're able to save and budget, and that's where First Financial also comes in, because we can utilize them to kind of teach them how to, you know, budget and groceries and, you know, continue their needs. So that way they don't have to really utilize assistance, from then on out. Unfortunately, that's getting cut too, because like I said, all the state, and federal grants right now, I've talked to DMHA, they don't know when they'll be getting those back. So it's not just us. I spoke with, Thrive, we have a good relationship with them. A lot of their people were working for free for a little bit because I worked for IDOH before this in Alston. I did all of the HIV cases, and they're having trouble over there as well, on the cutbacks for funding. So unfortunately, it's hitting us nonprofits.
How many people have you guys served since your inception?
Oh, goodness. I know we just did a monthly report from January, February, March. We served over 300 meals each month on that, and I think, what is it, like 300 and some cups of coffee. So, I mean, we rely solely on donations and stuff for that.
How long have y'all been open now?
This will be our 3rd year. Yeah, we went from about 4 to 5 members, and at one point in time, we had gained almost 100 members within the first year that I was there.
David, can we put an action step down for you to add grant funding, like keep an eye out for grant funding?
They already come to the commissioners and asked for funding,
Okay.
so we're evaluating that.
Okay. What about the grant programs that, oh gosh,
Through the Department of Health?
yeah, through the Department of Health, I know, who came and talked to us about grants? With the fitness courts. I can't remember his name all of a sudden.
From the National Fitness Campaign.
No, it was it's somebody who works for our county.
Brian?
Brian, yes, that's it. Do you think he would be able to keep an eye out as well?
I can ask him to.
Okay.
And you may have said this, where is the Recovery Cafe? Sorry.
It is downtown Madison in the old Eggleston building.
Okay.
So yeah, we're in the basement of the old Eggleston building.
Love that.
They have a whole kitchen down there.
I love that it's getting used.
Yeah.
There's a few different things in there.
Yeah, we kind of coordinate with Salvation Army as far as meals, so we have a lot of in-house pop into, and we also transport people that come in and want help, to Sunrise Recovery or, other places as well.
I'm rolling off of this board after this meeting, so that will open up my schedule for more times to volunteer my art stuff.
Yes, I would love, the state hospital people especially, they love doing arts and crafts
Okay,
and stuff.
and that was on Thursday.
Thursdays,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll keep an eye on my Thursdays. Tuesdays are always busy for me for some reason. Thursdays are about to be.
I'll take one Thursday.
To be
a month
free.
open.
At least one of them.
Yeah, they normally get there about 2, they stay from 2 to 4.
Okay.
I feel like I'm missing something, cover everything. Anybody have any other questions?
Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Especially in hard times that you
Yeah.
guys are facing.
Yeah, it's been it's rewarding and also heartbreaking at the same time.
If people wanted to volunteer their time, what's the best, way to get involved? Or what are your biggest needs for volunteers?
Or even donations, like do you take food donations or just monetary donations, like
We
what?
take both.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's, anytime that we're open, people can come in and I can send you a flyer, Jane, of our hours and stuff if you wanna send it out.
Thank you. We can post it on our website.
Yeah.
I'm gonna highlight that in red for me.
Just an aside, I don't know if you saw this, but today the Indiana State House passed a bill. Previously fentanyl strips
Strips,
had
yes.
been considered paraphernalia, and that is no longer. So I think that's a big win for harm reduction.
Yeah,
And
I've
I
been
wanted to
going,
make sure y'all had gotten that word on that
I've
as
been
well.
going to some of the meetings with Tony, when they were coming to Scottsburg,
Okay.
at the old building,
Good.
so, yeah. That's been a huge win, really.
Yeah, I agree.
Great. Cool. Yeah, we'll post information. We'll try to get the word out. We'll try to keep an eye out for solutions for grants as well.
And then, when we have our sober socials, I'll send you flyers as well for that.
Yeah.
The one we had this month, we actually did with Brookhaven, so that was fun.
Yeah, we ended up, I think, 46 people, and then I'm not sure how many kids, because there were kids everywhere.
Yeah.
But we were able to have a cookout. We grilled hamburgers and hot dogs and stuff for everybody, had cornhole, just, good sober fun out in the parking lot, so.
Yeah. Is that something that we could get on the like county calendar, events like that when they're up, or?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And we can let you know about how to get it on the county calendar.
Okay, yeah, just keep me posted. Yeah, and I think, I spoke to you last year about the garden. We had a
Yeah.
garden, a community garden as well, last year too, so that.
Where was
that
at?
It was down at Eggleston, off to the side yard.
Raised bed.
I actually had, the folks at the state hospital help me, plant everything, so it was their first time ever gardening, and, we just kind of made it a learning experience, and then every Thursday that they came, we would take them out, and they would water, and so they would get to see, the growth, and then, actually when things, produced fruit and vegetables, they were super excited about that, so, every time they would come in, they would just, Miss Michelle, can we go see the garden? It was just amazing, because they wouldn't have the opportunity to do that stuff there, so.
Yeah, and that cooking class was so fun. Sean Fitzgerald, I think.
Yeah.
Was the chef, and he.
Isn't it Salvation Army that he?
Oh,
No,
He
Sean
does
is with Louisville.
Feed Louisville.
Feed
Louisville, okay.
Yeah.
yeah, but he used to live here in Madison.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just had such a great time at that event. It was so great to see everybody connecting with him and seeing like future jobs happen through like different chef situations, and learning about balsamic reductions, and
Yeah, we had quite a few people.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was a crowd. So it's a good time. Highly recommend getting involved. All right.
Are you on the lowest level of the Eggleston building?
Yes,
Okay.
and then La Casa, which we utilize some of the services in the building too, because we've had, a few people from Honduras or Venezuela, so I'll connect them with Shirley, because that's more her, forte than me, just the language barrier, so we take them up there, and then we work with Micah and Brandy, Ruth Haven, and then he's got that ministry up there, so we all just kind of collaborate, and
That's great.
yeah, and we've had a few resource fairs where we've brought in, several of the local nonprofits and First Financial and, other recovery groups as well.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay,
Thank you.
and now we know. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thanks for all your hard work.
And y'all are welcome to stick around or not.
My husband's in the car waiting.
I know you've got a lot going on.
Mine's probably starving.
He's actually got 2 broken legs.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
wondering
my
how
gosh.
Casey's your husband.
Do what?
Casey's your husband.
Yeah.
So how's he doing?
He's doing,
He's doing.
me.
Yeah.
But we were in Puerto Rico, for those of you don't know, and he had a tragic accident at Puerto Rico. I shouldn't say accident, but our friend that owns Riverboat, we were all in Puerto Rico, and Chad went to jump off the waterfall. My husband was on the other side, and so after Chad went, my husband went. On my husband's side, there was big rocks at the bottom, and thank God that he spun, but he flipped his legs and shattered them. So we were stranded in Puerto Rico for weeks. This was the end of February. And so here in 2 weeks, he'll have to have another surgery. They'll go through his kneecap and take out part of his femur and then attach it, cement it to the bottom part of his leg. So it's been,
Life-changing.
it's definitely been life-changing and trying to manage, we own a construction company as well.
Stop.
So
Oh my
trying
God.
to manage the cafe, thankfully Jess and Amber, I do all the backside stuff, but, and I've been coming and going, but they've been, the support down there while I'm navigating everything, so it's definitely challenging.
And here you are despite all that.
You're right.
So double thank you for coming.
Yeah.
For the longest time, she'd have to drive 35 minutes just to get him a shower at my house because she couldn't get him in the shower at her.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Yeah.
been a
So now I pull them on a knee scooter like a radio flyer wagon. I'm like, life's challenges, you just have to make the best of what you have and carry on. So I'm just thankful that he's alive, and it could have been worse.
Oh, yeah.
So we just gotta press on.
Well, thank you again.
Yes, no
Thanks for being
problem.
here.
And Jane can probably put us in an email and stuff, so if you have any further questions or need to reach out, and then I can send the flyers and stuff over.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for having
Have a
us.
good night.
I'm not gonna complain about my dog's amputated toe. That's a lot, all right. So now we know about the Recovery Cafe.
Yeah, that's so cool.
They're doing some really good work. Yeah. Yeah, I can connect y'all with the email. It's a really straightforward email address. It's like ed@recoverycafe.org or something like that. You can find it on their website too.
Oh, cool.
But yes. All right. So I don't think we have Ruth Haven here tonight. I'll follow up, well, will I? Someone will follow up with them and I'll keep an eye on my email from them as well to make sure that they do come in sometime and talk about their services, and we can amplify them as well. And so we'll move on to number 3, which is time for public input and agenda items submitted online, which there do not appear to be any. So we'll move on to number 4, which is follow up on action items from previous meeting. And the first thing I have on the list here is that ACJS and maybe CK will staff Pride,
I'll do my best to be here unless there's a baby.
unless there's a baby, okay? Are you still good for Pride?
I thought I was one that said no for Pride
Oh.
because I'm on the
You're a
committee.
Juneteenth.
Yeah.
I was a Juneteenth
okay.
one, so maybe,
okay.
yeah.
But you're gonna probably be at Pride.
I'll be
Was
at
it-
Pride all day, and so I can pop over
Was it
probably to the.
Stephanie that was gonna do?
Yeah, and then Cami gave me good advice, cause I'm also volunteering with Pride. So we'll probably be needed for
there,
other
we may be
things.
able to come over to
And,
the
you know,
HHRC booth,
even if
but.
it's just me, we got it under control.
Okay.
Cause even though I'm rolling off, I'm still on the record for being at Pride for the HHRC.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah. And, I have, an idea for an art project,
Okay.
that I collaborated with, Aretha Beavers from PFLAG, to get her input from that, and she gave me a really good idea. And if it's okay with all of you, I thought, since we don't have like our own space, that we could donate that work to PFLAG. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then also, I have some postcards that I can give away from our art project last year, so we have a little giveaway.
Oh, nice.
I will be putting together, I already have it put together, I just need to print out, those, wedding, lists that we were making to make the community aware of it, and I think I'll also be making a little form if people want to be added to, the list of venues and officiants and vendors for weddings that are LGBTQIA plus affirming in our community. Then I'll make a little form they can fill out, so it's really easy to update that. So yeah, and I can share that with y'all as well. I'm happy to keep working on it, even if I'm not a member, but I understand that y'all probably want ownership of it in some way.
We just want our Jane to still have our little hands in our pot.
I'll just dabble still, it's fine. Cause yeah, it's just on Canva and it's shareable if anybody has a Canva account, so. And I do have a table. It might be helpful to have another table, so an art making table versus
I
like,
can bring a table down for you. It's like a 4-foot.
yeah,
Will that work?
yep,
Okay.
cause my table's also about a 4 foot, so.
Okay, I'll bring one down when I go this house up in the morning.
And I can do decorations and I have a tent. I'm ready for events apparently, so. Or to go camping, so yeah, all right. So yeah, and even if you did not volunteer to be on this little subcommittee for Pride, feel free to stop by and say hi, come make some art. So yeah, the next thing is Juneteenth. We have me, Cami, DJ. DJ, did you get to follow up with Lindsay?
Yes, and she is gonna be in North Carolina.
Okay, so no, that's okay.
And I know that Cammy and I were both maybes.
Okay.
I can confirm I can be there.
Okay, great,
I can confirm for Juneteenth.
okay, all right. So yeah, maybe we'll make some Juneteenth art too. Yeah, we can do it again, so yeah. I do have confirmation about, our Pride spot, I just don't have the number yet.
We're
and-
meeting on Saturday, so
Okay.
you should have that.
Great. And then Juneteenth, I think Tamika's in charge of that, so I'm sure we're good, because I'll confirm that with her as well. All right,
Where is Juneteenth, like the actual day held?
there are
Or is it
several
like a-
events over that weekend. I believe that the,
The thing we go to is at the Lanier, St.
Yes.
Lawn.
yeah, the
That's
Lanier
Pride.
Lawn, June 22nd, 3 to 6 is the picnic on the Lanier Lawn. So same location as Pride. Highly recommend the 5K though, and you can sign up for the 5K in advance. All right. Okay. Next, I need a plan for collaborative art projects, and I'm doing that, and I've done that. And so that's gonna happen. I also have supplies, I just have them. I have a room full of art things, so we can use them.
I have lots of chalk, that's about it.
Okay, that's fine. I have,
Would you be able to share like a little bit about what kinds of art projects you've done at tables in the past, so I can just envision what that might look like?
the last one we did, we had like an old pride flag. And we asked people who were at the event who identify in the LGBTQIA+ community to write on the flag, how the flag makes them feel. And then we kind of took all those words and like made them bigger and more visible, and painted them on the flag as a big art piece. And so the postcard is a picture of that. So it's like a kind of a tailored for our community image of support and community on the flag. So there's that. This time, what Aretha suggested, there is a phrase called "believe in yourself," where you like really emphasize the B-E in believe and the Y-O-U in yourself. And kind of like, so it's like be you and believe in yourself all in one thing. So I've worked on some ways to emphasize that in the artwork. And I figure I'll just put the words on there and people can like color and fill in and decorate and be creative. And I have canvases for that too. Thanks to my mother-in-law's neighbor who donated them. So yes, that is what we're planning on for this one. For Juneteenth, I figure we'll do something similar. Like I have canvases, like a community thing. I might see if there is a space that we can donate the work to. I might have some conversations about what and where that would be. All right. Any other questions about those events coming up? Okay. It's a big month. All right. Next we had check in with the health department for Dave.
I mean, I think it was about the funding. They did get their Health First funding this year, $720,000, but that will not be the same next year. It will be $200,000, I believe. And they had some of their grant money this year stopped. A lot around, I think around vaccines and all that. A lot of that money went to Medicare or Medicaid and trying to balance those things out. So Lindsay's still trying to figure out a lot of that. I think once she gets it figured out, she can probably have her come in and kind of give an update, but they're kind of swimming through all that.
Yeah, were there like positions connected to that funding, do you?
I think there was one, but they were able to move some funding around in their other accounts to keep that person on.
All right. Next was for Dave for any continued follow-up with LifeSpring and Chelsea Flatwoods.
So I know the county and LifeSpring signed their non-disclosure agreement, so I think we're settled there. I know we were thinking about there were going to be several groups, but I'll look to see if they come in June or July and just give us an update on what their plans are and things like that. The non-disclosure agreement was just kind of their treatments and things, not necessarily what they're going to do in the assessment, but and I haven't heard anything back from the folks on Chelsea Flatwoods. So.
Okay. Well, we'll continue that action step with
Sure.
Chelsea Flatwoods, and I know, I think one of my action steps was to ask PFLAG if they could come in and present to us, and they're thinking July for that. So if you want to follow up with LifeSpring and invite them to either the June meeting, I mean, July can happen too, you
Sure,
can have more than
but-
one present.
Sure.
Um,
Okay, see which one works best.
okay. All right,
So action, would one of us need to follow up with Aretha on coming in July?
yes, just
Okay.
as a reminder,
Okay.
because she's already like confirmed with me that that's when she wants to come, but
Okay.
it'd be good to do a follow-up. And we may talk about that more as we kind of go into the next segment of our agenda, talking about what comes next with all that. And then to keep going on this part of our agenda, Gigi was looking into research for strategic plans. Would you like to talk about that?
I would love to talk about that. So I brought y'all some stuff. Amanda and Stephanie and I got together a couple weeks ago, kind of sat down and talked about what we think a strategic plan could do for us and also what kind of strategic plan we think would be best. Because when I got into looking into this, a lot of the examples come from public health departments, and a lot of them are very, very extensive, like 85 plus pages. There is a page in the back of everything that I gave you guys that is from the California Department of Public Health, their strategic plan. They have theirs on their website. And it's just sort of this little infographic, and then all of these boxes actually drop down and discuss their like objectives a little bit more clearly. So we were sort of leaning towards something like that rather than constructing a great big 85-page document. That seemed like a lot. To back up a step, the purpose of a strategic plan, as we kind of understand it based on what I found and what we discussed, would be to help us kind of define our direction, to establish a clear vision in our priorities, to guide our decision-making, and then sort of foster accountability and collaboration within our group and then everybody else in Jefferson County that we're interacting with. And a point that we made in our discussion is that, you know, we are the Jefferson County Health and Human Resources Commission, not just for Madison and Hanover. So I sort of went down a rabbit hole and looked into Jefferson County and what that means. So these other two pages are a map of Jefferson County with their city, town, census designated places and populated places, just some information about where people are living in Jefferson County. Because we need to sort of come up with like what our community needs are, and part of that is going to be figuring out how we represent everybody in Jefferson County and figure out what the needs are across Jefferson County, not just here in Madison and Hanover. And on that note, Amanda, were you able to go to that?
What?
Perfect.
I'll go over that next. Cool.
So, you know, Madison has its own body that's sort of is it the same Health and Human Relation?
It's not health, it's just Human Relations Committee.
Okay, so conveniently, Amanda ran into one of those members at the store and was able to attend their meeting because we thought it might be important to figure out what they're doing to make sure that we're complementary rather than repetitive or stepping on toes. So, like?
Yeah. Sorry. So, the Madison Human Health. So what they're working on is creating a plan for civility within the city. That is their motto, and they're still kind of expanding on that. But one of the things they're planning on is neighborhood block parties. So like blocking off parts of your street and then maybe cooking out, having food there, and then different committees that are from town already set up so you know those resources are there. And doing it where people don't have to walk, or just walk, not have to drive, where the meals are provided. So they would like us to consider are we open to seeing what other communities in the county we can bring that to? So like a DuPont one, or a Deputy one, or Canaan, and things like that. So I said, yes, I'd bring it. So they're planning their first one for late fall or early summer, or late summer, early fall. I will get to that.
Wow, they're going into the winter, if you're starting late fall.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how to limit those who attend. I know it's 10 degrees out, but come on out.
Yeah, come on
Have
out.
a good fire.
So they're working on getting grants from Bethany Legacy. And then they're also planning what's called a human library.
Yes, those are so cool.
I've never heard of it. So essentially, it's like you would bring like some different community members together, just say for instance like me, and I would present like a half-hour block, maybe 20 minutes of me talking about who I am, what I do as a midwife, what I do in the community, and then there's like 10 minutes of questions. And it might be like a group of like 30 people, 20 people. They're gonna try to do it at the Hispanic Heritage Festival, maybe 1 or 2 people, maybe somebody who is DACA or like an attorney who works with the Hispanic population of like what the challenges are in this area. So they're gonna see if they can bring something like that. And they'd like to do that where there's already existing festivals going on versus standalone events, so. Yeah, so on that note, I'm going to stay on this committee, but have asked to join the Madison HRC too, because why not?
But you're living Hanover.
I do, I don't know if they'll let me,
I
Mom.
know, yeah, when you said that yesterday,
I
I was
never
kind of
thought
thinking,
about
yeah.
So sad. But I'll attend their meetings occasionally, just so we can have an ear, right?
Maybe you
So
can
we
be
can-
like an ad hoc member from
Yes.
the county.
Yeah, a collaborative member or something like that to help with merging.
Because I don't want to overlap, and I love the idea of us being able to do things to celebrate our communities. But I know like Hanover, we already have like a town party, don't we?
Mhm.
It's really cool. So, you know, maybe figuring out how to show up at that differently, or, you know, if we could be like having that human library, one of us, or like Dave, like what's a county commissioner, right?
Yeah.
Something like that, so. Yeah, thanks, Bob, I never thought of that.
That's all right.
Thanks, I thought you wanted to be on it, now you're getting way out. What's the-
I came back to a letter of the law person, I'm sorry.
It's just managing expectations.
Yes.
Dreams crushed.
Thank you for going to that meeting and bringing that information back.
And they meet less than we do too, they meet like quarterly, so.
Oh, that's why you were going.
So keeping all of that stuff in mind, bringing it back to the strategic plan, down at the bottom of my little doodad here, I have some action items. For us to come up with our strategic plan, first of all, a mission statement is usually included in that. I was able to find our mission statement that's on the website right now. I wanted to ask everybody to think about, like, are we good with that? Do we want to expand on that for an official strategic plan? I don't know, I don't have an opinion, just something to bring back to you guys. And then we would like to do some kind of a survey maybe for the county, for these different communities, to try and figure out what people's needs are as we're coming up with like objectives and goals for our plan. So we thought that everybody could come up with like 2 questions that we could put together for this survey to maybe bring to like the commissioners, or Amanda mentioned Mayor Bob, or maybe the schools, or even our local gossip groups, to just try and connect with people from all over the county and figure out how we can best be serving them. And really that's all that we had, just asking for everyone to think about those questions and think about how we would get the word out, and then reconvene back on this in June. Did I miss anything?
No.
Solid. Questions?
So, not that, there may be some things in the comprehensive plan, a couple years old, but maybe some ideas to get started. And then Brian, were you here when Brian brought the list? So I'll get a copy of that. He had a list of things that came out of the comprehensive plan that were kind of related to Health and Human Relations Commission. So maybe that, once again, spur some ideas on. Doesn't have to go from that, it's a couple years old, but maybe a good, somewhat of a starting point.
And it started with like a broad survey, right?
Right.
So it
I
was
mean,
a broad
we brought
survey
the-
done
so-
by the county, and then he came into our meeting and was like, here's some things that I
Oh,
think
cool.
that maybe the HHRC could work on.
I do think
with
updated
this comprehensive
surveying
plan.
is good though, just because so much
Right.
has been changing over the last
I mean,
few
we
years.
might pick out some points on there that we'd like some updated, and we could do something like that off the county website, just a survey, at least to get some folks in that way. There may be some others, as we found out, that don't always go to websites and don't like it, doing it that way, and so we might think of other ways to get in touch with folks, putting it out at grocery stores or something like that. I mean,
I think it's a brilliant idea, and what you've done around election time, going to trash drop-offs in the county.
I thought you were gonna.
Dave, I mean, what a
Sure.
great place to meet
Hey,
with members of the
They
community
just can't spend a
that,
lot of time talking. People
Make
wanna
that-
dump their trash and get out of there, I can guarantee you that. But if you help them, they're more than willing to talk to you in those points. So, yeah.
so we got a
it
few
is.
questions while we're helping them unload their trash.
A few very short answer
Reach
questions.
some people that we may not otherwise reach, who may not be surfing.
That's a great idea.
I mean, as easy anymore as it is to do QR codes, sometimes we could put up a little sign at each of these places and have them scan that, and then that would take them to a survey that we can have.
Cool. I put some hand sanitizer next to it.
Yes,
Yeah.
donated by HHRC, right? Promoting good health.
You always wear gloves, you're never sure what that bag is, if it's a 3-pound bag or if it's a 50-pound bag. I could never stop though, if it was 50 pounds, I was gonna get it out of the truck and into the garbage truck, no matter what, even if I was about ready to pull my arms out of the socket. Anyway, yeah, it was. It was a good way to talk to people, and they came to you, that was the other nice thing.
I'm just out of the loop, since I just got here a couple months ago. The comprehensive plan, is that a Jefferson County
Yeah.
comprehensive plan?
If you go to the county website and type in comprehensive plan, it'll pop up.
Okay, sweet, thank you.
But we should have notes maybe from an old meeting of things that
Yeah, Brian.
Brian had
What
brought
that
to
was.
this committee that
Okay.
we should get to you.
Sometime this winter.
Awesome.
Jefferson.
I will let, Brian's got the list, I'll reach out to Brian and get it, so we don't have to go back and
Yeah.
what meeting was that?
Right.
So, we'll get it that way,
Thank you.
and, I'll get it out to you.
Connect.
Probably be good to renew it to everybody too, or refresh it to
Yeah.
everybody, so.
And with other new members,
Mhm.
yeah.
Make that an action step for Dave. Get
Mhm.
Brian to update everybody on strategic plan.
I'll just get his list, and then we can, if we need updating, we can.
Okay.
Seems like I gave it to you. You know,
We have so many new members.
well, I understand, we'll get it out to folks.
All right, anything else for strategic plan, happenings?
Also, gee, this is really good.
Thank you. I love data and got real into it.
Good. I think, we've talked every once in a while, we probably almost every meeting, about funding. You want grant funding? You have a strategic plan? That's what everyone's looking for. You need to have some sort of plan. You can go to them and ask, can you give us some money? Most times the answer is no. But you got a plan. And Okra comes out with grant cycles, and I'm sure there was others, and so Brian is normally, you meet Brian once upon a time, but Brian is doing those sorts of things, so he can help us kind of track those things down.
All right. Excellent. So I think that means we can move on to number 5, new business from commission members. The first thing I have on that is nominated an applicant to replace Jane Stormer's seat, which I emailed y'all. I don't know if you got to see it earlier this afternoon to make sure everybody, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it before because we've reviewed it, but new members for Lauren Steele. She is currently an applicant that we have that has not been placed on the commission yet. We don't have any other applicants at this time. So if we're interested in making sure there's not a gap in membership, we could go ahead today and vote to recommend to the commissioners to add Lauren to the commission as Iowa law. So then we won't have any gaps in membership. Is that something we'd like to proceed with today?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'm going to make a motion to recommend to the county commissioners that we add Lauren Steele as one of the members of the Health and Human Relations Commission.
And I'll second that.
Kim seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any noes? Okay, I didn't think so. I also said aye. So that's wonderful. Along the same lines, not a bullet point for it, but any thoughts about anyone wanting to take on the, what is it called?
Chairperson?
Chairperson, that's it. Yeah.
I called you the president, I don't know.
Okay. Chairperson, basically what I do is make agendas and email everybody a week before the meeting with the notice of public meeting so that we're doing the open door laws right. And move on down the agenda. That's what I do. And sometimes emails come to me with applicants, or if people submit agenda items online, those come to me to add to the agenda. I just keep an open Google Doc going with that stuff. So it is pretty rewarding work, but yeah. Anybody interested in stepping up?
I mean, I don't have a full-time job. I have the bandwidth for it. I'm obviously willing to nerd out about stuff. Like, also, I'm the new kid, so if no one...
We were all the new kids a year ago.
I think everyone's the new kid whenever we're only like a year and a half old. Right?
Yeah.
I'm a really great mentor though. So,
I believe that.
So,
Yeah.
it used to be my job to be a mentor.
She's good at it too.
I believe it.
So yeah, I can work with you on it. I have no expectation of just like piecing out. Although I will not be at the next meeting in the audience because I am volunteering in Chicago at a workshop, so.
And Amanda's the vice chairperson or the vice president, whichever one, or the, I don't know, whatever, where to go on. So she'll be that happy too.
Yes.
I'm just saying that. But she obviously didn't step up.
No, don't have to be.
Big
So do we have
win.
to nominate, or can we just accept her?
What do you think, Dave? Do we need to
We
do, like,
need to nominate.
I
Okay.
would like to nominate Gigi.
oh, okay. So Gigi has been nominated, so I'm gonna make a motion to make Gigi,
Usually you second the motion.
Oh,
I'll
You
second.
can
Oh, wait.
vote on-
so he, all
You
right.
make the motion.
He made the motion, I'll second the motion
All right.
to
We can
make
do that
Gigi
way.
the chairperson of the Health and Human Relations Commission. See, I'm still even learning. So,
It's a loosely Robert's rules, whatever they call them. but-
Robert's rules, if you wanna go down that rabbit
I'll make
hole.
another document.
Yeah,
No, that's okay.
And that's just how to run the meetings.
So yeah, I'll second the nomination. Do we all in favor?
No, I know who's, I guess we're in the middle of who's president, but you can go ahead and call for a vote.
Okay, so are we all in favor of?
Yes.
Yes.
Are there any opposed?
No.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
All right, your meeting now. What's next?
Well.
And we will enact that at the June meeting.
Oh.
I'm still in control. There's still an agenda left. So great, wonderful.
Congratulations.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Wow.
Go big or go home,
Gigi.
Gigi.
Look at your
That's-
resume just expanding. But yes, I will get with you on that, and we'll talk about like the processes and things like that, which are pretty low key.
I'm very excited. Like, this has been a really cool thing. I'm glad this group exists. I'm enjoying learning more about where I live and the people that make up where I live, and I care about it a lot. So, thanks.
And I'm really excited that you're doing it. I'm really excited that this is all still happening, honestly.
I know, right, that we kept it along for like a year and a half, it was pretty cool.
Gosh, no, it's been 2 years now. Right. Because it started in, like, June? I think we had I forget, maybe.
Pretty sure it was February or so that we passed the resolution and things.
And then we got the members on
Right, and then we had to
started
go
meeting
get them.
early summer.
So, yeah.
Dave, do you ever roll off, or will you?
Yeah, I will, mine's just an annual term, so, I mean, I think you need someone from the county government. I don't know that, Ron is on such a strange schedule with night swing shift, and Bobby's got a lot of other things to do, so. I am, if you don't mind having me, I am.
We love having you.
So helpful.
I do have connections, so.
Yeah. Great. So I think that's most of the business regarding my seat kind of transitioning out. I can reach out to Lauren and let her know. I reached out today to give her a heads up about, hey, this may happen. Dave, if you can just follow up with me and Gigi about what the county commissioners vote on.
Sure,
for
we don't have
Lauren.
a meeting till next Thursday, so I'll make sure Sarah, our admin assistant, gets it on the agenda. We'll take care of it.
So and then we can update Lauren, so that she knows all this happening.
And so, do you have her email?
I do,
Okay, I mean, if I could say copy her on the minutes and.
I can do that.
Okay, great. All right. Next, there was one thing that came up, a question about, there was a self-defense class that the sheriff's office put on, and there was some concern raised about participation restrictions. I sent out an email right before our meeting started with like the document that was shared for the event. And since this is my last meeting, I did my own little rabbit hole.
So I had seen that, and
Oh yeah, you shared it with me.
I
That's
had
what it was.
Jane, we could get that on there, so, if you haven't viewed it, there was restrictions, one being that you had to be a US citizen to attend, and the other being that you could not have any felony convictions. Both are concerning to me, but, especially about being a US citizen, we know that there are so many different ways that people can be here legally. We have, people that work at Hanover College that can attest to our international student population. Carolyn Alcorn does wonderful work with the high school level of exchange students, but even migrant workers in our community. And also in this climate, when I feel like there people from other countries are possibly at higher risk of being victims of assault, and then to exclude them from being able to participate in self-defense course that is offered by the county was very concerning to me. So, and I'm just curious as to why that stipulation, I've not seen that before. I myself have participated. I don't know that I've participated in any self-defense put on by the county, but I know one that former MPD officer Daniel Sly did for community members, and that me and my daughter attended. I don't remember there being those types of stipulations to attend the course. I had to sign release because my daughter was underage at the time, but it was more just that kind of stuff.
And I thought I would just provide more info, as someone who's worked with visas and has gone to a lot of conferences about statuses and friends with several immigration lawyers. Just sharing a little more information about statuses and kind of what they mean. And just in our county, I found that from the last census that 1.2% of our population were not born in the US, and that's about 413 people listed in the census. And that about 3.6% of our residents speak a language other than English at home. And the census does not keep track of whether people are visa holders or green card holders or something else that isn't listed in the census. So we can't really track that information with hard numbers in our county that I could find. But some of the concerns I had about it as well, to tag on to Cami, is that the 1964 Federal Civil Rights Act prohibits discrimination based on national origin. And as something being offered by essentially our county government, that is walking a very fine line and might cross that. So it's something to pay attention to and have conversations about maybe at the commissioner level, is how can we advise on that sort of thing in the future? Is it something that y'all should maybe talk to your lawyers about if that is a legal restriction to have, because national origin is a protected status from the Civil Rights Act.
Did anyone reach out to the sheriff's office? Because you didn't put the second page on there, but it does say if you have any questions, you should contact the sheriff's office.
I haven't yet.
Well, I just wonder, I mean, your numbers don't really say whether they're citizens or not. It just said they were born in another country. They could have become citizens.
Sure.
And they could have easily attended. So I don't want to, Ben said they've had a lot of positive comments from their classes. So I don't know that we want to start saying, well, it's not good because, and we don't know, because I don't know that anyone reached out to him.
Well, I emailed you a few weeks ago to see if we could invite him.
Yeah, it was just last week, so it wasn't
sorry.
2 weeks ago. And I talked to him,
Okay.
and he said he hadn't had any complaints from people that were there, very positive.
Well, I think we would love to have a conversation with him here.
Yeah,
As a
that's
commission, I don't know
probably
if
not
it's-
gonna happen,
Okay.
because he doesn't, I mean, he's got someone else who's doing it on their, it is at the sheriff's office, but it's off duty
Yeah.
and stuff, so.
Okay. I did go through some of the kind of definitions just to make sure we're all kind of educated about that. Lawful permanent residents are green card holders, refugees, so basically documentation that shows that you're residing here in the process of becoming a citizen, but not yet a citizen. Lawful temporary residents are people who are like international students, exchange students who hold student visas, temporary work visa holders, tourists, and asylum applicants. Still in the process of gaining citizenship, but not yet at the point of having a refugee status or a green card holder status.
But I mean, you're making an assumption that if they applied, he would say no, and you don't know that, right?
And
If they applied to be in the class, these people that you've talked about.
I mean, that's kind of why we need to have a conversation about it, because it was listed as that they wouldn't be.
Once again, it said if you have questions or you contact them. So
Okay,
if you have someone there who wants to, I think all they need to do is contact them.
okay. I mean, I could do that as just a general citizen, but since I'm rolling off the commission, I just want to make sure we're updated on this. Undocumented immigrants, since there might be future topics of this conversation, there is kind of definitions under undocumented immigrants about kind of how to refer certain terminology. There's EWI, which means entered without inspection, so somebody who crossed the border without inspection. There's also entered with legal status but overstayed their visa. Probably the most famous occurrence of this was Elon Musk, who famously overstayed his student visa in the 1990s. After attending the University of Pennsylvania, he was accepted to Stanford for graduate school, but only attended a few days and then dropped out and started a business. Without returning to his home country, he stayed in the US and started a business, which technically made him an undocumented immigrant. Then there's DACA, which is Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. And that basically is technically undocumented, even though it is a documentation process. It's when people have been granted temporary reprieve from deportation because they entered the country as children, as minors. And that's a process and kind of a program that's been going on in the US for a while. Then there are people in the process of legalizing who are still undocumented. Oftentimes it's like a spousal petition where you've gotten married to a US citizen and you're in the process of gaining citizenship from that. There is an asylum petition where people can be in the process of claiming asylum. There is the pending U visa, and a U visa is a visa for victims of criminal activity that are helping law enforcement in those processes. So they get a temporary visa for helping law enforcement and possibly eventually citizenship. Then finally, there's vulnerable immigrants in status limbo who are in the citizenship process but can't afford the fees, or maybe missing deadlines because they cannot afford the fees within the process of immigration. So those are just some of the definitions of the different kinds of situations that are out there.
It's very informative. I did not know about all that.
I know there was something different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I need to educate myself more.
hours long presentations about this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's complicated, and yeah, we have a lot of people in our community who are not US citizens but could benefit from that kind of service, and I think that is a conversation that we should have. So maybe that's something that we can have sometime, either as private citizens or as a commission. As far as the rejecting felons, convicted felons, that is not a protected status, but it kind of, for me, plays into the dignity part of our mission, to say that I understand like a history of violence would be an adequate reason for denying somebody entry into that kind of a class, but there are a lot of people who are in a felon status who are not violent criminals. I mean, you could even include the President of the United States in that, lots of people. So I think in the conversation that we might have in the future, the thing that we could really talk about is that a simple background check might be the way to go, but listing all these different things that might disqualify people, might discourage people from participating or applying to participate, which could be seen as discriminatory. So that is kind of my rabbit hole for the day. Any other discussion on this?
I just was like, looking at different counties like that offered self-defense classes, and they don't have any kind of like requirements like that, just that you lived in the county. So I didn't know I was gonna, like, I've never heard of this, the counter violence. I don't know if they have any restrictions to their classes.
They're
But
a
I'll,
private entity though.
Okay.
Private business.
so they can do,
Yeah, I mean, they're very generous. I know at one point they had, free and reduced prices for people in law enforcement and our community and stuff like that.
Just looking at the form that you had sent, I'm curious if that restriction might be, and I'm not saying that whether this is needed or not is something that has any opinion to it, but I'm curious if, because there's an expectation that all the participants in this course go through a background check, if maybe that is a criteria that gives them access to information in a background check. I'm curious if that might be it, but I think that if that is the reason, I would love to see if there were other options too, so that it wouldn't be a disqualifying criteria.
Yeah, I'm interested kind of to know more about the process.
Mhm.
do we know if this is something they're looking at offering again in the county? Is it like a yearly thing, a quarterly? I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, a big part of starting this commission is to have conversations. So yeah, I'm hoping that we can. So I'll try to reach out to that meeting. I'm not gonna be at.
Well, I think somebody else, we can do that as an action item for
I'm
someone
happy to
else.
reach out. I think that my approach to it would be very much like a, hey, I'm curious by reading this, can you help me understand why that's the case?
Yeah,
And then I think that bringing that information back is probably the way I would want to navigate that. And if that's how you want that navigated, I'm happy to reach out and ask.
that would be great.
I just did a quick Google and just information gathering. It looks like there's a defensive tactics and ground combative instructor program through the state, and I'm wondering, based on the flyer, it says, defensive tactics instructors, so I'm wondering if what this is from. And it just gives a little bit more information about like how you become an instructor and the duties of the host agency. Where was it? Host agency's discretion as to how to fill the class, but it doesn't say anything about these kind of restrictions. So I think it could be informative just to go in with a general open-minded why, like what is the reasoning. But if anybody wants me to share this link, it says something about course registration is managed by the state through a system. So I wonder if there are some constraints that are put by the state that are the way things are. I don't know. There's that.
Okay. All right. So we have DJ following up with general questions for Sheriff Flint. Any other actions that anybody wants to take on for this?
I think right now, action being figure out why is, I think just in assuming like there is a, like if there is a reason why that would be the case, I would want to give them an opportunity to kind of let us know that before we have really strong opinions.
All right. I did see, when I saw it on Facebook, after it was brought to my attention, I did see that there were people voicing their concerns about the limitations on there. particularly about, not offering it to felons.
Okay,
So I don't know if that's something to review,
absolutely.
but I know there was some pushback in the community about that when this was released on social media. Okay. All right. Next. Any other new business? Okay. Then let's move to number 6, review action items for the next meeting.
All right, I have, Dave asked Brian to keep an eye out for grant opportunities for the Recovery Cafe. Dave, invite Life Spring to a June or July meeting. Cammie, follow up with PFLAG about coming to our July meeting. I have for Jane 2 things, one about posting the Recovery Cafe details on the HHRC website, and then also keeping an eye out for responses from, was it Ruth Haven? I stopped mid-sentence, because you said that you had mid-conversation.
Oh.
So maybe it would be pass along, make that connection to Gigi.
Yep,
Okay.
that's what we'll do.
I have Dave provide details for Michelle about how to have Recovery Cafe sober social events posted on the county calendar. And then I can ask the sheriff's office about some of the restrictions to participate in self-defense workshops.
The other thing for our strategic plan, if everybody would reflect on a couple of survey questions, potential survey questions, please.
Homework.
And then do we want to also have you hook me up with the comprehensive plan stuff, Dave?
Sure, I'll send you a link,
That'd be great.
and I'll send to everyone. When I get your minutes, I'll get Brian to give us those things and I'll send them out to everybody. What do you kind of collected out of the action items, so.
Thank you.
I'm also gonna include, reviewing the mission statement before, like, just reread it and familiarize before you do the reflecting.
That'd be great.
Like that all is one task.
Thank you.
All right. Any other action steps? I'll also, I don't think it needs to be an action step, it can kind of fall under the working with Gigi. Just make sure that Sarah Morgan has info about switching stuff over to Gigi, like with new applicants or any agenda items coming in from our online forms. And updating new membership on the website. Yeah.
So I'll send her an email, Sarah, and put you on it so you two have each other's, and she'll know.
So are we still like accepting applications and looking for new members?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can always have like a pool of applications so that if someone does need to roll off, or as we get close to the end of the year when the cycle will naturally roll off people, then we'll have a pool of people to draw from and select.
Backtrack. So at the festivals, will we have our QR codes?
Yeah.
Like, just thinking about that, those
Yeah.
cute little QR codes where they can just scan and this is what we do with our website. Okay, good.
Yeah, I'll have those out there. That's on my like to-do list to have Sarah print them for us and have them available for the festival so people can have a link to our website and the application form and stuff like that.
If Stephanie is available and willing to, like, moving forward, that might be I feel like she's very good at that kind of thing, infographics and stuff, so that maybe she could take on that task from you. Or
Yeah,
something.
definitely.
I'm an amateur Canva user.
Yeah.
I've never used
I
Canva.
use
Yeah, me neither.
every day.
Really?
Oh yeah, my job.
I'm gonna be like, come tutor us.
Yeah, it's like, this is how I pretend I'm a graphic designer. And also all the other things. Yeah.
You are welcome to evolve any of my creations.
I'll probably keep them exactly the way.
Don't reinvent the
Thank you
wheel.
though.
All right, so that is number 6. Number 7, future meeting dates. We have June 26th, July 31st, and August 28th coming up. Be looking at those dates, and if any look especially busy, I would say bring it up at the next meeting to see if we need to shift any dates. I don't think any of them fall on major holidays, so we're probably good to go there. All right, so number 8 is adjournment. So
Before we adjourn, I would just like to extend a thank you to Jane for helping bring all of this together and keeping us going forward, and really
Be the best chairperson the HHRC has ever seen. Sorry, Dave.
we
as
appreciate all of
the
your
first
time.
ever chair.
The best we've ever had.
Big shoes to fill.
Oh gosh, y'all.
So,
It would not happen without y'all. We need our members, and I'm so thankful for y'all. All of y'all. All right, so I will, is this a voting one? I can never remember. We don't have to vote to adjourn, do we?
Just someone second.
make a motion.
I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn,
And I will second it.
and DJ seconds. All right, thank y'all.